welcome into SportsCenter the former #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd, welcome back. We've missed you, Floyd.
Hey, how you doing? I'm not no former #1 pound-for-pound fighter. I'm just saying I'm the best fighter in the sport of boxing. No one has dethroned me, so how am I not pound-for-pound the best fighter in the world? You tell me.
Because you retired?
But have I ever been beat?
But what happens is you informed Ring Magazine
Well,
you were
once again,
retiring as welterweight champion.
I already forgot who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Brian Kinney, a guy who's never laced up gloves a day in his life, who don't know nothing about boxing.
Well, it's good to have you back in top form already. You retired. What, Floyd, you want to be a champion emeritus forever? You walked away. You actually retired.
We know you don't know nothing about boxing. Finish going.
Floyd, why come back now?
Why not? Why not? The sport needs the cash cow back, you know. We already know what I can generate. We already know what I can do in the sport, and we already know who's the face of boxing.
You waited over a year to come back.
And I've been gone from the sport, and what these fighters done since I've been gone, together in pay-per-view, out of all the fighters, haven't topped what I've done in 2 fights.
The pay-per-view has been pretty good for Manny Pacquiao fights lately, Floyd.
They still haven't topped what I've done in 2 fights.
Well, one was with Oscar De La Hoya, who was the cash king.
I'm the cash cow, please.
Not compared to Oscar De La Hoya. Have you drawn as much as Oscar De La Hoya in pay-per-view, Floyd?
De La Hoya been on pay-per-view 1,000 times. It took me two times, 3.5 million homes. Me, Floyd Mayweather.
No, with Oscar De La Hoya, though.
Oscar De La Hoya didn't do nothing. Did he win?
It was a split decision loss, as a matter of fact.
Come on, man.
But it was with him.
Once again, like I said before, once again, we're talking to Brian Kinney, a man of many traits, a master of nothing.
Floyd, you waited over a year to come back. Why not wait one more weekend until Pacquiao and Hatton was over and we knew the winner?
I don't have to wait for nobody. I move whenever I want to move. I don't have to wait for nobody. I move whenever I want to move.
Do you think about facing Pacquiao first in your first fight back?
My first fight back, Marquez is the guy that called me out, and after I think after the Pacquiao fight, they asked Pacquiao, Larry Merchant asked Pacquiao, did he want to fight? He talked to his promoter. They didn't ask his promoter. They asked him, did he want to fight?
Well, lots of people call you out, including Oscar De La Hoya, for a rematch. Why didn't you rematch with Oscar?
I mean, right now, Oscar De La Hoya is promoting the fight. I think he's doing a hell of a job promoting the fight, him and Richard Schaefer. And I love doing business with Golden Boy Promotions.
I'm saying, Floyd, you always come back and you face the best. And I give you credit for that. When you moved up to lightweight, you faced Jose Luis Castillo right away. But why not face the guy that won the Pacquiao-Marquez fight?
Well, like I said before, Oscar De La Hoya is doing one hell of a job. We got Mayweather Promotions.
What does that have to do with what I just asked you?
It's the past, the present, and the future of sports and entertainment. And I think that Leonard Ellerbe and Al Heyman is doing a hell of a job as my advisors.
Why not face the winner of the Pacquiao-Marquez fight?
I just answered your question.
No, you didn't. I must have missed it. What are you talking about?
I said Al Heyman and Leonard Ellerbe are my advisors, and they done one hell of a job with Floyd Mayweather's career.
So they didn't want you to face Pacquiao right away?
I'm not ducking and dodging nobody. You know what it is.
No, what is it? Is Bob Arum?
I got a list. Whenever it happens, it happens.
Is it because Pacquiao's promoter is Bob Arum? Is that the reason?
Well, you got to talk to Bob Arum, not me. I ain't gonna speak on. I don't got nothing to say about Bob Arum.
But if you're the cash king, you can make the call. If you come back and say, I want Manny Pacquiao, that fight had happened, Floyd.
Once again, Bob Arum is Manny Pacquiao's boss. Floyd Mayweather is his own boss. And you heard them. They say they talking about they moving on. They want to fight somebody else. You know me. It don't matter who I fight.
Well, you had made the call before he fought Ricky Hatton, so he couldn't make a fight with you before he fought Hatton.
If Marquez is a fighter that's faced in front of me, that's who I'm focused on right now. If Pacquiao's in front of me and it's time to fight Pacquiao, then I take care of that also.
Floyd, Pacquiao just faced the last 2 guys you also faced. Who do you think was more impressive? You or Pacquiao?
Me, of course.
Really? What's
Absolutely.
more impressive, a split decision and a 10th round knockout, or an 8th round KO and a 2nd round KO?
Well, what's more impressive is Oscar De La Hoya, when I fought him, he fought at his walking around weight, which is 154. And when he made 147, he was a dead man, and he was fighting in 8-ounce gloves. And when I fought Oscar De La Hoya, they gave me some 10-ounce gloves, some heavyweight 10-ounce gloves. And when I fought Hatton, I knocked Hatton out with 10-ounce gloves on, stepping back when he was undefeated.
It's a fair point.
And my dad gave Hatton a game plan. Hatton fought a southpaw. He's not used to facing a southpaw. He gave him a game plan, and he didn't execute the game plan.
It's a fair point, and yet he barely lost a round to both guys, and you had a late knockout and a split decision win. It's hard to argue you were actually more impressive, Floyd. How do you figure?
Well, the thing is this. We know Oscar De La Hoya killed himself to make 147, and we know that's not Oscar De La Hoya's walking around weight. When I tried to get the fight with Oscar De La Hoya at 147, they said absolutely not. I couldn't even choose my own gloves when I fought Oscar De La Hoya. They chose the gloves for me. And with the Ricky Hatton fight, I beat an undefeated Ricky Hatton. And once I beat Ricky Hatton, he was never the same. Once I beat a guy mentally and physically, he's never the same. You can go back and look at all the fighters.
That fight. He won 2 fights after that, including against Paul Malignaggi. He looked decent in that fight.
Decent. I mean, Paul Malignaggi is a good fighter, but Ricky Hatton supposed to have killed this guy, from what I've heard.
Floyd, Juan Manuel Marquez is an excellent fighter, but he's the lightweight champion of the world. Why pick a guy 2 weight classes lighter than you?
Here we go again. So here we go again with this. Now
you were the welterweight champ. This guy's the lightweight champ.
I'm glad. I was waiting for you to say that. So Floyd Mayweather is in his 30s. Oscar De La Hoya is in his 30s. They meet up and fight. When we meet up and fight, when Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather meet up and fight, and I beat him, but we both in our 30s, they say he's over the hill. But then when Pacquiao fights him, they say, oh, this is the greatest thing we ever seen. So then when I fight Hatton, they say I'm too big for Hatton, but then they say
no, nobody said that. You got full credit for both of those wins, Floyd. That's why you became a superstar.
No, I did not.
Yes,
no,
you
I
did.
Did not. No,
sure
I did
you
not.
did. From me, I gave you full credit. If you're talking to me now, I gave you full credit for that.
Am I going to speak my piece or not? Am I going to speak my piece or not?
Go ahead.
Okay, because you want to interview me. I ain't interviewing you. You want to talk to me. I don't worry about talking.
Floyd,
you want to talk to me.
Go ahead. I'm waiting on you.
So then when I fight Hatton, they said, oh, Mayweather is too big for Hatton. But then Marquez and Pacquiao can fight, it's no problem. But now, but I'm too big for Marquez. I'm too big for Marquez, but I'm not too big for Pacquiao. Which one is it?
Well,
no, which one is it?
Which one is it?
Which one is it?
It's that Pacquiao was 130 pounds, and he keeps moving out and whacking guys who are much bigger. He gets full credit for that, but you are going after a guy who is 2 weight classes lighter than you.
So De La Hoya wasn't bigger than Pacquiao when he fought him?
No, you got full credit for beating De La Hoya.
Answer the question.
You deserve that. You moved up.
Answer the question. Did they not say De La Hoya was too big for Pacquiao?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
then.
And they're wrong because Pacquiao is that great.
Didn't I come from 125 pounds all the way to 154 pounds?
Yes, you did.
Answer the question.
Yes, you did.
Okay, then.
All right.
So I was a small. So answer the question right now.
I did. I just answered the question.
I got to ask you another question.
Go ahead.
Have Pacquiao been knocked out twice? Answer the question.
Yeah, when he was like 112 pounds.
Just answer the question.
Because he turned pro when he was a teenager.
Did Pacquiao been knocked? Have he been knocked out twice?
Yeah, like a decade ago.
Answer the question.
A decade ago.
And just answer. I don't care if it's 100 years ago. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Have Pacquiao been outboxed by Eric Morales?
What, one fight he lost to him?
Answer the question.
Yes, he did.
Has he been outboxed by Eric Morales?
Yes.
That's all I need to know.
So why would you fight him?
I ask you another question.
So why not fight him right away?
Now I want to ask you another question.
If he's that easy.
Now I want to ask you another question.
Go ahead.
Who's beating me?
Nobody's beaten you yet.
That's all
Floyd.
I want to know.
So why pick a guy 2 weight classes lighter?
That's all I want to know.
Why don't you answer one question for me? You're picking on the lightweight champ. You were the welterweight champ. That's 2 weight classes lighter. Why not go after a guy like Shane Mosley? Shane Mosley is the champ in your weight class. Lots of guys call you out, Floyd.
He called me out.
Why not go after Shane Mosley, who is the champ in your weight class right now? Why not Shane Mosley?
Once again, like I said before, I don't fight for bragging rights. I don't fight for bragging rights. I prove myself.
So why not fight Shane Mosley, who is the welterweight champion of the world right now?
Who Shane Mosley, who got 5 losses? That's the one you're talking about?
Shane Mosley, the guy who totally dismantled Antonio Margarito.
And he beat Cotto, and Cotto beat him. All these guys beating each other, but nobody has beat Floyd Mayweather.
He's the champ right now.
Answer the question.
He's the champ right now. He's the champ in your old weight class,
A belt
Floyd.
don't make me. A belt don't make me.
But he's a champ in your weight class. You're going after a guy 2 weight classes lighter. A great fighter. He's a great fighter, Floyd.
You're right. Shane Mosley is the only guy I know. Guess what? He's not a pay-per-view attraction. Floyd
Shane
Mayweather
Mosley's not?
Absolutely not.
Compared to Juan Manuel Marquez?
Absolutely not.
You think Marquez is a bigger draw than Shane Mosley?
He got a country behind him. A country.
Shane Mosley would be a hot fight,
and we know Mexicans been dominating. We know Mexicans and black fighters has been dominating for years. And you always get your biggest fights when you match the 2 together. And
Floyd,
you know that.
Floyd, if you get past Juan Manuel Marquez, who would you like next?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. All right, can I suggest somebody?
You can't. Hey, listen, you're not a promoter. You work
you
for
said it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, I'll suggest somebody.
You can suggest whoever you want, but guess what? Only thing you do is you sit back and you interview me. I didn't ask it. Listen, you called me to do the interview. I didn't call you.
No, you're on a satellite tour.
But I didn't call you.
You're on tour.
But I didn't call you.
I joined up.
I didn't call you.
Floyd, I enjoy talking to you. Who do you want to fight next, Floyd?
Like I said before, you're a man of many things, but you're a master of nothing.
I seem to be occupying my job, though. As you often say, you're just a guy with a job. I have a job, though. So who would you fight next?
Guess what? Your job don't pay like my job.
Well, it depends.
Your job don't pay like my job.
That brings me to another point. Why are you coming back?
I can make $200 million in 18 months because I want to. Because I want to come back and steal some more money. Is that okay with you?
It's fine.
Okay.
I enjoy watching your fights.
Okay.
Who might be next?
It doesn't matter.
All right. How about Manny Pacquiao?
If he wanted, he can get it.
Okay. Could you do a deal with Bob Arum then?
Well, we already know me and Bob Arum has a problem, and we have an issue. So that's going to be hard to make. If Pacquiao wanted, he can get it. You know that. Whoever wanted, they can get it.
Well, you didn't give him a chance this time because you announced your fight the morning of the fight. You announced your fight.
I've never ducked or dodged no opponent, so stop. So stop. A guy won a couple fights. You wasn't saying that when he got his ass kicked by Eric Morales. You wasn't saying that. You wasn't saying put him in there with Floyd Mayweather. Now all of a sudden he got a couple wins. Now you said throw him in there with Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, I do, because he's earned the right. He fought the last two guys you fought, and he did a quicker job on both of them.
So what that mean? So
that means match him up.
So hadn't done a quicker job with Castillo, and guess what? And what happened with Manhattan? Okay then.
Well, yeah, at that point Castillo wasn't the same fighter. Same thing you claim it for Hatton for Pacquiao.
You can hope, and they pray on my downfall. You can't go against God's work. What God wants to be is going to happen. Period. You continue to keep calling me and asking me for interviews, and I'm going to come back to the sport of boxing and continue to dominate.
Floyd, I'm glad to see you back. I truly am. It's good talking with you, and we'll talk to you again before the fight. July 18th, Juan Manuel Marquez, the lightweight champion of the world. And be there live
because, like I said before, I've been dominating the sport for I don't know how many years. And I had to ask you another question. What was Pacquiao in 97, 98, 99? 2000
it's 105 pounds.
What was his name at? Was he I'm in a whole new era dominating
fighters.
That's right,
and he's a whole new fighter, Floyd.
A whole new fighter?
Oh, yeah.
And when I beat him, what they going to say? Oh, well, we knew this was going to happen. Floyd Mayweather was a bigger fighter, or he could outbox him, or this. It's always excuses.
Full credit to you if you beat him, Floyd, and for Marquez, too, who's a true lightweight champion.
And Marquez beat him twice for real, and you know that.
I thought he outpointed him the second time around.
He beat him both times, and you know that.
No, I don't know that. The second time, I think he beat him. Floyd, good talking to you. We'll see you again.